end. Really the only announcements we had, MFA's membership meeting is coming up. And MFA, do you want to talk a little bit about that? It's next week.
Yes. So I'm glad you said something, Layla. Like I have it on my own calendar, but I can't believe the end of July is almost here. So I'm going to be teaching a basic hula lesson just for fun. I have family from Hawaii and I've learned a little bit, and it's just you don't have to be a good dancer. No one really knows hula. I don't even know the extent of hula. I'll kind of talk about a little bit of the history. We'll do a few moves to a very popular song and then have fun.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
I need to get
And
that calendar.
That's at 7 next. I put it on the thing. Next Friday, right? Or was it
on the 25th? So it's on
25th,
the Monday.
so Monday. So Monday at 7. That's when that'll be. So hopefully we can all join in. Watch some of our guys shake their hips a little. That'll be fine.
There's a lot of guy hula
I knew
dancers.
I'd get you, Andrew.
I'm gonna bring my grass skirt, and I guess I better do some push-ups beforehand because aren't we supposed to be shirtless and at least the men?
You
So
don't have to be. You don't have to.
Come on, we got it. We're gonna do tradition, right? So
you can put in as much as you want.
This is perfect for you, Michael.
Oh yeah, Michael.
Get a little training in beforehand. All right. Wes, are you going to introduce, or Greg, are you introducing our speaker for tonight?
I believe Greg is.
Yeah, I can do it.
All right. Well, as are all of our announcements, and we'll turn it over to you, Greg.
All righty. Sounds good. I'm just gonna kind of, I know Johrita, but I'm gonna read a few little things that I didn't even know. So anyway, let me just welcome Johrita. I'm glad you're here. It's great to have you. Many of you guys may have known I've been a member of the International Fellowship of Rotarian Scuba Divers for a while, and so has Johrita. That's where I met her and her husband Bruce. So we've been diving for a while together, and I've known she's always been pretty active in Rotary, but didn't even realize she was this active. But let me just read a little bit of the things that she's, her little bio here. So she's been a Rotarian since 1993. She's a member of the Rotary Club of Anaheim, California. She has served as the district governor of District 5320 in 2010 and 2011. She was elected to serve as the Rotary International Director for the years 2019 through 2021 and Rotary International Vice President of 20 and 21. So as district governor, Johrita held the first District 5320 $1 million dinner for the Rotary Foundation. Under her leadership, her district became the second district in the world to become a 100% Paul Harris Fellow district, that's amazing. I didn't even know there are districts that were 100% Paul Harris Fellows. That's pretty amazing. It's just hard to get your club to even be that. We're a young club, but even my old club, we were never had that. So that's pretty awesome. She's the co-founder and chief visionary officer of Solari Enterprises. It's a full-service property management company specializing in management of affordable multifamily housing. Johrita and her family have long been members of Rotary. Her husband Bruce and even her kids Gianna and Tressa are also Rotarians. Johrita has held many positions in Rotary. She was served as the chair of the 2013 Southern California Nevada Pets training leader at 2 international assemblies. She chaired a Rotary Institute for Zones 25 and 26, served on various Rotary International and Foundation committees. She's a current member of the Rotary International Polio Plus Committee and RA Membership Committee. And I think, didn't you even go and participate in giving out the polio vaccine?
I did.
I think you did. That was pretty awesome too. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, Johrita and Bruce are champions of our Rotary Foundation and members of the Arch Clump Society, Paul Harris Society members and major donors. And they live in Villa Park, California. So from there, we'll let Johrita go and do her thing. So thank you,
Right.
Johrita.
Well, thanks, Greg. It's good to be here this evening. In fact, I'm delighted to be here. And Layla, congratulations as being the new president of your Rotary Club and all the board members. It's awesome to be able to count on people, and thank you all for stepping up to lead in this new Rotary year. Greg, it's always good to see you. You make me smile. The stories I could tell about Greg, but we'll save that for another time. I thought today that we could really kind of keep it casual, if you don't mind. And I'm going to try something different. I was working with Sarah. Sarah, if you're, I saw you were driving in your car. Thank you for all your help. Sarah came up with the title, Learn Together, Rotary International. And then we selected a few topics that I hope you'll find interesting. I thought we could talk about our progress in eradicating polio, which is our #1 external goal for Rotary International. I thought maybe it would be good to talk about the goals that the board of directors and the trustees have in place for 22-23. And maybe a little bit about membership and growing Rotary, which is our #1 internal goal. And then maybe a little bit about membership and starting clubs, innovative clubs. And you guys should know a lot about that. But before we really get going, I really do want to kind of keep it as informal as possible. So if you have a question or I have a question, just either put the question in the chat box or maybe raise your hand or just jump in. I'm okay with everybody doing that and just kind of having a chat, if you will. Is that okay with everyone? Is that okay with no one? Okay, great, super. So let's get on to our first topic, polio. Does anyone know what an NID is? An NID? No? Anybody in the chat? A National Immunization Day. And a National Immunization Day is when countries pick a select times during the year, and has a full country immunization project going. So for instance, Africa has national immunization days that
Oops, that might be. Hang on. Sorry. Still doing. Sorry, Johrita. I'm trying to. Is that better?
that's better.
I was switching over to my iPhone, so I'm gonna log out and log back in.
Okay,
So I'm sorry, guys.
that's all right. Gotta love technology.
I know. I'm too old too. I'm still doing it. All right.
See you later.
Struggles of having a virtual club.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of the things we all have to work out. We have both virtual and in person in our club, and it works out really, really well. So do we have hiccups? Absolutely, but you just have to roll with them. That's how you learn, right? Okay, where was it? Oh, National Immunization Days. So different countries have different days that they put that they designate that teams go out throughout the whole country and do immunizations. And Africa is still doing them. All the countries, I would say, let's see, Africa, Pakistan, Afghanistan, the countries in some in Southeast Asia, India as well, and they will continue to have those days set aside, And then people from the United States and other parts of the world actually come and help give the vaccines. And Greg mentioned that I had been on one, and I have been to Africa, to Nigeria. And in 3 days, we vaccinated 4.5 million children. So in the whole country of Nigeria. And so that's a national immunization days. And teams go out all over a country and give the vaccine. So I'm curious, am I the only one that's participated in an NID that's on the in the meeting? Yeah, I am. Okay. All right. Well, so those are possibilities that you can go to and get involved in that project and give those polio vaccines. So a little bit of background then on polio. We continue to work with our partners to eradicate polio. And this campaign started more than 35 years ago by one Rotarian. It was his idea, and he started it in the Philippines. And so far today, Rotary members have contributed over $2.1 billion to the campaign. And through our advocacy efforts with governments, we've garnered more than $10 billion in donations from governments around the world. And working with our partners in the government and the communities around the world, we've vaccinated 2.5 billion children, and in about 122 countries so far today. Now, our partners, which a lot of people may not realize, are very significant partners, and we're very lucky to be on this team with them. It is the GPEI, which is the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. Our partner is another partner is UNICEF, CDC, the World Health Organization, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Gavi, which is a vaccine alliance that is created to vaccinate the children, the world's children, against all deadly and debilitating infectious diseases. And the final partner are the governments in the world. And a lot of people don't know it's not just Rotary. It's all of us working together to immunize the children. Now, as I said earlier, the global eradication is Rotary's #1 external goal. We are focused right on that one goal. Now, what's happened now, and kind of an update, the wild polio virus remains endemic in only 2 countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan. 4 cases have been reported in Pakistan and 4 cases in Afghanistan and 11 in Pakistan since January of this year. Additionally, 1 case in Mozambique and Malawi were reported as well. Now, on another battlefront in the war on polio is the circulating vaccine-derived polio. Now, this is a strain of weakened polio virus that was initially included in the oral vaccine, polio vaccine, and it has changed over time, and it behaves more like the wild polio virus, which means it can spread more easily to people who are unvaccinated. So when that circulating vaccine-derived polio virus is shedded from someone who has it, it usually goes into in the sewers and is picked up either through the sewers from very bad sanitation, or even if someone sneezes. And there are a total of 9 cases reported last week compared to 8 the weeks before. So 4 occurred in Niger, 2 in Benin, 1 in Ghana, Algeria, and Eritrea, which brings the total 2022 count to 173 cases compared to 139 last year. In fact, a sample of the circulating vaccine-derived virus was found this month in the sewers in London. While it's concerning, while it is concerning, we know that the vaccine rates are high in the UK. Therefore, it's unlikely to cause additional infections. Experts say that this samples probably come from someone who recently was vaccinated in Pakistan and traveled to London. So you can see how very important it is to continue the immunization efforts. I'm told that if all eradication efforts stop today, within 10 years, polio could paralyze as many as 200,000 children each year. So you can really see how important it is to continue our efforts to stay focused on eradicating polio. And I'd like to recommend that if this club, the members of this club would like to know more about the details of what Rotary is doing to fight polio, I would recommend that you contact Mike McGovern, who's a current chair of the Rotary International Polio Plus Committee. And he is a great speaker and has a lot of details about ending polio. Also, Carol Pandek, who's the director of Polio Plus at Rotary, is an excellent speaker and has a lot of good information. If you like, I can put their contact information in the chat box. So as you can see, it's important for Rotary to keep our promise to the world and the children of the world that we will eradicate this terrible disease. So I'm wondering if any of you have any questions about what I've mentioned and told you about polio. While I put the contact information in chat, I hope I can do this. Voila! I'm impressed with myself. No questions? Well, let me ask you a question. Do you guys know about the 100%, I'm sorry, the Polio Plus Society Club? I'm sorry, the Polio Plus Society. And the reason I keep saying club, yes, no, no? Well, there is, your district should have a district Polio Plus Society chair. And basically what that is, and you might want to consider it, you can belong to the Polio Plus Society by committing to contribute $100 or more each year until polio, to Polio Plus until the world's been declared free of the wild polio virus. And it's a fabulous group of people started to get together, just like they did in the Philippines, to raise money to go to the Polio Plus Fund. So if you're interested in becoming 100% Polio Plus club, I would ask you to contact your district Polio Plus Society chair. I don't know if the district has one. Do you know, Greg?
If our district has one, I'm not sure.
Okay, it's worth looking into. It's not a huge contribution, but it's we're looking at hopefully coming really close to ending the wild polio virus, polio created polio by 2026. So it's not a huge financial commitment. So I would challenge the club to look into it at least and see if you might be interested. So no questions about shedders? No. Okay, you're not going to make it easy for me, are you? So the next topic are the Rotary International goals for 22-23. So this is an easy question. Who sets those goals? Who do you think sets those goals? It's not a test.
I would assume that we as clubs set those goals.
You would think so. Yeah, yeah. So Sarah, I'm just curious. So who's Rotary International?
Oh, now we're quizzing.
No, the reason I ask is because one of the things I've found is that terminology is used in a lot of different ways. You know, Rotary International, I always say, who's Rotary International? It's the clubs. It's the clubs.
I was gonna say we are.
Yes, you are. You're right. But then I hear people say, well, Rotary International sets the goals, and they mean the board of directors. So it sometimes for me it can be confusing, and I try to really understand who's who and what's what, and sometimes it gets confusing. And I've been on the board, and I've been the vice president of Rotary International. So the goals for the board and the trustees, they set the goals. The clubs set the goals for their clubs, because the clubs are independently kind of dependent on at Rotary, because it's not you that's a member of Rotary International, it's your club that's a member of Rotary International. And so with that said, what you do in your clubs, you set your goals, you set the projects, you make the determination on what you want to do. So the board set and trustees set their goals, and they do it at a meeting prior to the first meeting prior to the year that the goals are supposed to come into effect. So I thought I would share what those goals are, and then maybe we could talk about them.
Before you start, I think I'm curious. I guess I would assume that the board would set those goals based on what the club's input is. Is there any input into the board? Is there any survey on what the clubs think that, or the districts think that their goals should be? Or is it purely just a board discussion?
That's an excellent question, Sarah. Right now, it's purely a board discussion. However, I think that transparency and communication are becoming much clearer as we continue to move forward in Rotary International as a global organization. I think that the last few presidents and the two Jennifer and Gordon are looking at connecting more with Rotarians in the club so that they can definitely get input from them. The vision statement that was created a few years ago and the action plan actually did go out to Rotarians via a survey for their input and their response to what the board and committees were doing at that time. So the goals for the board, not yet, but you also have a director that sits on the board that was nominated from your area, and while all international directors represent everyone in the world, all Rotarians, they are especially connected to the area or region that nominated them to be a director. So do you guys know who your director is? Do you know who your governor is?
Her name is
Our
escaping.
governor is
I know.
Carolyn Franks.
Carol?
Carolyn Franks.
Carolyn.
Oh, Carolyn Franks is your governor. All right, all right.
Yep.
She's new. That's why we couldn't know her. We could tell you the old
We
one.
haven't met her yet.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Well, and that's a interesting, when we go over the goals for the board and the trustees, remember that I don't believe yet that the members in the club really know about what the district is, or what the zones are, or what the directors do, and really what the Council on Legislation does. Are you guys familiar with the Council on Legislation? That's a group that meets every 3 years to determine if the Constitution and bylaws need to be changed for our organization. So you absolutely should know who your representative is going to be in 2024. We just had a council this year. And so 22, 23, 24, 24, 25. And you really need to know who they are, because they're the people who vote on should we change the Constitution and allow women to join Rotary. They're the people who made that decision. The board of directors are the people that make sure that the policies and procedures are being followed. But Sarah, you're so right. Rotary International is our organization. And if we don't know about it, somebody else is going to take the reins and run it for us. So it's good to know what your district means, what your zone means, who your international director is, because you can call that person up. I think it's Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I'll remember in a minute. And you can actually talk to, you can have them come to a meeting of this club and talk to them about your concerns and how can they bring your concerns to the board. And a lot of clubs don't know that. I know your club is new, but a lot of members of clubs don't know that. So it's good to have that. That could be a whole meeting in itself. So the goals are actually based on our vision statement. And I'm not going to ask you if you know the vision statement, but I'm going to read it for you. And I think it's pretty good. Together, we see a world where people take action and create lasting change across the world, in our communities, and in ourselves. And the goals were really created using that vision statement and the 4 priorities of our action plan. And I would challenge you to look up what our action plan is, because you guys are really working it in your club and you may not even know it. So the goal is, as I said, is in our is really reflective and using our action plan. And our first priority of our action plan is to increase our impact. So the first goal that the board and trustees are looking at in that one first priority is to eradicate polio and highlight Rotary's role in this effort. They also would like to have they have a goal of increasing the contributions to the annual fund and Polio Plus, while building the endowment fund to 20 and 25 billion by the year 2025. They're also looking to develop new partnerships and showcase effective club, district, and international programs and projects, particularly in the 7 areas of focus. Do you guys know what the 7 areas of focus are?
I bet we could name off most of them.
Oh, good. What's the most recent one? Are you hot where you are?
I'm going to take a wild shot here. But I think it's mothers and families. Is that right? Mothers and children? Was that the last most?
That's one of them. Sustainability is the last one that got added.
Oh, you mean the last one that got added?
Environmental.
Environment, yes, yes. But mothers are in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the environment is the 7th area that was just recently included by the folks at the Council on Legislation. So they're going to focus on the 7 areas of Rotary 7 areas of focus. And actually, Jennifer is doing a tour. President Jennifer is doing a tour across Canada, and then is going to go to certain countries and really hone in on the 7 areas of focus and highlight them through her tour. And let's see, the goals in the 2nd priority, which is expand our reach, are to elevate Rotary's global profile as people of influence, people of purpose, and people of action. And also in this priority is to start and nurture new innovative clubs and participant engagement channels. I don't know if you know that there are pilot programs going on right now where people can engage with Rotary without being a member of a Rotary club, but they can engage with Rotary and do projects, and that gives them the stepping stone to get to know Rotary a little bit more. And then the next goal and the 3rd priority is to enhance participant engagement. So the goal is to enhance participant engagement tools that support Rotary's core values through personal growth, leadership development, service, and networking opportunities. And the next goal is to increase collaboration between participants, particularly Rotary, Rotaract, and Interact clubs. So those are some pretty strong and heavy goals. And the last one is in the 4th priority, which is to increase our ability to adapt. And the board is looking at supporting and encouraging the use of virtual connectivity to optimize the in-person meetings and the trainings and the fundraising and the service projects. If you have not gone to, what is it, the Learning Center at Rotary.org, it is phenomenal. And they have a lot of information there. And you learn a lot about virtual connectivity, about leadership, about mentorship, about just about anything you can think of. So I would encourage you to check that out when you have time. They're also going to further the commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion at every level of leadership within the family of Rotary. And the final, or the 10th goal, is to review our service delivery and volunteer leader structure to improve effectiveness, responsibility, and accountability. So there are 4 priorities in our action plan: increase our impact, and expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase your ability to adapt. So how does your club do those things now, do you think?
You guys got to help me try to answer some of Johrita's questions here.
Clayton, you know you got it.
May you repeat your question?
So
I think I know the answer, but.
Right, certainly. So how is your club living the strength of our action plan? 4 priorities. One is, how are you increasing your impact? How are you expanding your club's reach? How are you enhancing participant engagement? And what are you doing to increase your ability to adapt?
I'm going to go ahead and answer one of those. The 3rd one, which I can't even repeat right now. But we are engagement. We are enhancing our engagement. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Since we're a virtual club, we've literally just launched a new way for our members to interact because we felt like we were missing the fellowship aspect. So now we have something called member-hosted social meetings, which could be in person, they could be virtual, where they could set up a Zoom meeting, and it can be anything. It can be on a topic. We had a Rotary New Year's Eve where we just had fun and fellowship, and then we've got MFA's hula lesson coming up. So different things like that, where a member can take a skill that they have and share it with the club members. It can be any day of the week. So we have some members that aren't able to make it every Tuesday at 6 p.m. So this allows them to still meet with club members and to still feel like they're engaging. And we are, I think, making it a goal to try to meet once a year as a board. So our board is meeting once a year at least in person. But that's one way I think that we are enhancing our engagement.
I think you're right. Absolutely. I think you're also, that's also a, I want to put that in there. That's also is under the ability to adapt. I mean, increase your ability to adapt. That's terrific. And who doesn't want to learn the hukilau?
We're definitely learning a lot of things along the way, especially being so new.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys answer the other ones. We still have increase your ability to adapt, increase your impact, expand your reach.
well, I'll try to answer one or two, maybe. I can get long-winded. But to adapt, I mean, kind of like Sarah said, we're a new club. We're easy to adapt to things and change, where some of the other clubs in our district are not so much. And I think part of the adaptation falls under the auspice of DEI too, because, you know, things at times are changing and we can't be stuck in, 1965. We have to adapt with people and technology. And I think our club excels at doing both of those things.
Great. Yep. I think you're right.
I think with increasing our impact, since we're not in just one area, in one region of Texas or even in the States, we're from all different parts. We did some service projects that were kind of like choose your own adventure. So wherever we are at, like, how do we serve our community? And I know some of us helped an animal shelter. We were able to go to donate blood at our own local blood banks. And so kind of wherever we are already impacting, but as a club trying to, I need help, trying to increase our service in that way, but locally as well as together.
Right. No, perfect. Absolutely. And what about the money you sent to the Ukraine?
Yeah, that was a great project that Wes headed. Got in contact with the clubs in Poland that were taking in Ukrainian refugees, and we were able to raise a good sum of money. I think all of us pooled and reached out to family and friends to donate, and we're able to send that over to help those Ukrainian refugees. Really good. I feel like it wasn't even a planned service project. It was just something that Wes wanted to do and helped to make that happen within our club, and we all got involved, and that's what Rotary is all about, right?
There you go. So you increased your impact and you enhanced Wes's participant engagement, and you also made it feel good for yourself that you were involved as well. That's pretty cool.
Sure. And Wes, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we raise the most in our district area, the most funds? Or is that right? I can't remember what you said, something about that.
I don't know of any other clubs in our district raising money for Ukraine. I don't think that was a priority at all.
Well, congratulations to you all. That's quite impactful. Quite impactful. And thank you. Thank you for your generosity. And Wes, thank you for spearheading that. So let's go to the last topic, membership. These are significant and exciting times to be a member of the family of Rotary. So many members of Rotary are thinking outside the box, and your club story is very impressive and forward thinking. the members of this club have definitely created, I think what it was called was a solid bridge for up and coming leaders to move from Rotary programs to becoming full-fledged Rotarians. You know, all over the world, Rotarians are adapting the way we connect and serve. Rotarians like you are disrupting what people thought about Rotary. You're inventing how we do the business of Rotary. You're actually creating our new normal, embracing what's new and different. And the work that gets done every year in Rotary, year after year after year, depends on the members in our clubs. How ambitious we are, how we choose our projects, how committed we are to making a difference, and also on how open we are to changing what needs to be changed, but holding tight to the things that matter. It all comes down to taking care of our members and working together to do good in the world. You've created an innovative club, and I would encourage you to share your story with Rotary by sending your club story to club.innovations@rotary.org. And I'm going to copy that and put it in the chat box. You have something that's working. And it would be so good for you to share how your club started, how your club is continuing, and the impact that you're making in your community in just a short period of time. For me, it's inspirational to see what you guys are doing. You're making a terrific impact. And not only in your community, but with Ukraine, the money that's going to the Ukraine, now you've started to make an impact globally. And you should be very, very proud of yourselves. I'm proud to stand by you, to say I'm a Rotarian standing by you as well. So I want to thank you for your kind attention and for inviting me to be part of the meeting this evening. I hope that you learned something. And again, I'm open to any questions you may have.
I wrote a couple things down that I'm hoping you can just clarify or expand a little bit on. You mentioned the endowment fund as well as the engagement channels. Could you just expand a little bit on the endowment fund and then what the engagement looks like in the engagement channels and like what types of projects are listed or are part of those engagement channels?
Okay, well, let me do the endowment fund first. Is it, Greg, are you still on?
Yep.
Okay. So have you talked to the club about the endowment fund at all? As a foundation chair, are you still the foundation chair?
Yeah, but we haven't gone to that. We're gonna try to have somebody talk about foundation next month.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, there's some very good foundation folks out there too. The endowment fund is a fund that you donate X amount of money to the endowment fund in your will, in a living trust, and it goes into. I'm really not good at this part, but I will
just
be.
by what you've said. I feel like gives a little bit into what it actually is. So it's a large. What you're saying is it's a bit more encompassing of large sums of money.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And okay, so, and the other one was the participant channels?
Yeah, the engagement channels and what types of projects there are within those.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know that much about it, and the reason I don't is because it's a pilot program that started just before the Houston Convention. So the results aren't back yet, but it's it would be a mentor-mentee project where anyone that would like to connect to a mentor, like I am a business owner, created and started a business that's thriving today, and I'm an entrepreneur. And if someone wanted to connect to that type of mentorship and has something that they're in their mind that they're doing and want to have a mentor and help them along the way, they can connect through Rotary, and they don't have to be in a Rotary club. The mentor is in a Rotary club or is a Rotarian, but the mentee doesn't have to be. So Rotary International in Evanston has started that pilot program, and they're supposed to have results of that. It's been about a year, so it's supposed to have results of that to the board, I believe, at their September, October board meeting, as well as the connecting with a project and a Rotary club. So you would connect with people that aren't Rotarians or in the Rotary family. And for instance, you might put something out on a community website looking for volunteers to do neighborhood cleanup. And you let people sign up and they come and do that service project with you. So it's that type of program that, again, is just a pilot program, and that information should, as a result of a year's work, should be given to the board in the September, October board meeting. So we'll know more about that. So it's looking at how can we open up other channels to Rotary without having to be a Rotary member. But it allows you a stepping stone to become a Rotary member.
Yeah. I feel like we might already be doing some of that in our club. And I think it's just because we are a virtual club. We're not in a community together where we can all go out and do a service project. And I think a lot of times when we have service projects in our club, we like to get our friends and family involved, and they go and do it with us.
I think you're right. And I think that's why it's so important that you guys come together and bring your story to Rotary International and go to the clubinnovation.org, rotary.org, but tell your story, because you are a new club, you're a happening club, you're everything in how many members do you have? 20?
Something like that, around 20, yeah.
Not a huge 300 member club. You're new, you're starting out, and I love the basis that you came from. You're Rylarians, you know, that people that were involved with Ryla. That's terrific. The alumni, I think, is a forgotten group of Rotary, and we have to really shine the light on that. And what a great way to bring them back into Rotary. You guys are doing it. I think you need to share your story. It's fabulous. Should be very proud. Any other questions? Oops.
Oh, I was going to ask a question for Sarah Jenkins, but it looked like she had to leave. Because I know Sarah had our club featured on something with Rotary International not long after we started. I don't know if anyone remembers the specifics of that. I just remember she did a write-up for us.
I was trying to remember it because I feel like it got maybe some social media attention. I don't think it was anything beyond just like a post, or maybe she had done something in conjunction with a couple of other clubs at the virtual convention back in 20.
I think she did some kind of write-up for, I believe, a Rotary blog of some sort, but I don't remember specifics.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if it was the one that Johrita was talking about.
I was just going to nominate Sarah to go to Club Innovation and have her write up something for our club because she's so good at that.
I bet she can find her old stuff and tailor it appropriately.
Yeah, and if you need to have a contact and you're doing that, you're more than welcome to contact me, and I'd be happy to connect you with the folks that on staff at ORC to Rotary One Center to get that information to the right people.
I'm going to save all these links and contact info you've shared to our agenda page, just so everyone has access in case we want to go in here later on.
And it is sometimes important to, one of the questions I was going to ask you is how many of you have searched out a leadership position at the district? Because you are a club of leaders. So, and I know you're new, but I would definitely think you need to expand your reach in your leadership. And I might want to encourage you to search out a district leadership position. And before you know it, you could be in a zone leadership position. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of you wouldn't be a director one year, or a training leader at International Assembly where they train governors, or heck, you could be a governor.
I do know, I mean, and this isn't quite at that level yet, but as we've mentioned, several of us are RILA alumni, and we basically run the district's RILA now.
You know what? I was looking on the district website to see who is the chair of RILA, and I didn't see it. But
the district website doesn't have the most up-to-date information. They don't always do the turnover very well. But our RILA board of, I know board is a different word that we shouldn't be using for that, whatever. But Madeline Smith, who's a member of this club, is the RILA camp director. Emma Faye is on that group. Layla's on that group. I've rotated off of that group after COVID and all of that. So we're very involved in district programming at that level.
You are now our RILA chair, so
yes.
Hasn't started all that yet, but yes.
That's good, and that's a good start. That's a great start. And so now, you know, it's worth thinking about, because if we're going to change Rotary, we have to be the change we want. We have to do that. And before you know it, someone's going to say, "Oh, Elizabeth, you're too old. You can't do that. Nobody wants to see an old woman in that position." So now's the time to really get involved, you know. It's so you guys are just so unique, and you have good ideas, and you can share them with the district. It won't be easy because you're all like-minded people on this call. And you're the first club that really got into DEI and giving money to the Ukraine. We need you to expand out into the other areas, or it's not so like-minded.
I know one thing that we've had some challenges with respect to the district is because we are virtual, we are not all geographically located in the bounds of the district. Mm-hmm. And so you start talking about going to district events, and for some people that's an airplane ticket. Like, mm-hmm. They're not always super open to making things virtual if they don't have to. So it's become a bit of a contentious point with some of our members and some of the district leadership.
Oh, interesting. It always is. It always is. That's in my experience, that something that is worthwhile is worth fighting for. And if you believe it's important, then be relentless. If you believe something is important, be relentless. You really, and going to district events, it doesn't mean that you have to go to a district event in the district this club is chartered in. You can go Andrew, I saw you shaking your head. You may be in another district. Can you go to that district's events? It's kind of like visiting another club. All districts are different, and all clubs, if you've been to one Rotary Club, you've been to one Rotary Club. You know, it's the same thing with districts. So it's, you can go to your district's events. And sometimes people don't think about, oh, you know, I knew it was good to have a virtual club or bring in the virtual component for the club meeting, but I never thought about it for the district. Or I never thought about it for the zone. Do you know, for the first time ever, because of COVID, the board meetings are now virtual, where they can bring in people around the world virtually. And not only that, we only had 3 board meetings a year prior to COVID in person. That was it. Now, I mean, when we were in COVID, it seemed like we were meeting every week, which was fabulous because we're moving the business of Rotary. But now, coming out of COVID, the board is recognizing that they can have more meetings virtual and have in-person meetings and have the component that works well together. But I'll tell you, it was a fight. It was a fight to get them to understand it's going to cost money. I don't know if we can get staff to do this. I don't know this. I don't know that. Be relentless if you think something's important.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, fortunately, we have a lot of people who are pretty relentless in our club, so that's not a concern.
Yeah, I would say
At
that's
all.
very true of our club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might have been a little quiet today, but that's definitely not when we have opinions.
It's yeah.
Yeah, when we want to see change, we do. Like, we make it happen for the most part.
You know, Layla, a lot of people want to see change. Sometimes they don't want to speak up about it until someone else speaks up. And it's surprising how many people will start to stand up when one person takes that step forward.
100%.
Unless you our district.
Thank you so much, Johrita, for like MFA said, for encouraging and inspiring us. You
pulling at the heartstrings.
The passion that you speak with, I mean, it speaks with us too. So we started this club because we saw a need that wasn't being met in our district and brought it all together. So thank you for supporting us in that way too. Several people have had to jump off because we're just a little bit over, but again, like, it's worth it. Like, just a reminder for MFA's thing on Monday, since we won't be able to see each other before then, Monday at 7. And we'll send out that member social link again. And next week we have our board meeting, and so we'll be excited for some. We'll talk about our goals and about Carolyn coming in August, and finalize our point system. So we're excited about all that. We will end, as always, with the 4-way test, and I just dropped it in the chat. We did pretty good the week before last, with not having it. We always get confused on those two. So if y'all come off mute, and we'll start with the 4-way test of the Rotary 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it
true?
Is it fair to all
all concerned?
Third, will it
build
relationships? And fourth, will it
be beneficial to all concerned?
So awesome. Is will.
Yeah. We always get the fair and the beneficial. It's like, wait, did I say that one already?
Yeah.
Well, thank you all again for coming tonight and listening to Johrita. And
thank you. It was nice meeting everybody. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Johrita.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye. So, like, for Wes, we should have included, is it admissible in court?
Always.
If he'd have been here, he would have added it.
Yeah.